is Annette, and welcome to Two Mares Review, where we review anything from character design to fan fiction. I am Countess Rose, and I'm here with my co-host, Fire Scales.
Hey, peeps!
And today we'll be covering a requested fan fiction, Adventures in Equestria by Huey Toomore. Now, before we jump into this, I must say, Adventures in Equestria is not a fanfic in the traditional sense. It is written in a script format because it is intended to be an audio drama. That being said, the first episode has only been recorded and there is nothing else recorded.
For some odd reason.
Yes. Now, I don't know about you, Fire Scales, but I personally prefer not to review something that isn't in its final form. It's kind of like asking me to review a drawing or critique a drawing when all you got is a written description of what it's going to be.
Or basically trying to judge a episode of a show by looking at just the storyboards.
There's a lot that goes into it because, again, written as a script. Kind of hard to read as a story that way. So, in short, we will just be taking a look at episode 1. Fire Scales, do you want to do the sum up of the episode?
Certainly. We start out with quite the description of every building that we're going to be most contact with, supposedly. And then we cut to a tree house where this boy named
Mesmo.
His young, aspiring wizard whose apparently his only talent is magic, but somehow he is not good at it. And basically how he gets shipped off to Equestria to be taught by, most likely, Twilight Sparkle. And we have his two very best friends, Lion and also Nicola. Yeah, that's pretty much the short synopsis of it. The other side characters we have, besides guards and whatnot, are King Nathaniel, Queen Marilyn, and Chancellor Balthus. So that's pretty much the short synopsis of it. So we can get into the meat and bones now.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to be covering 4 aspects, which will be story setup, characters, video setup, and sound design, which is a very important one, seeing fact, again, audio. Okay, so let's start with the story. Thoughts?
Why are the humans in Equestria? That's one thing I think of.
Yeah, I think we both share this bias where humans being human in Equestria just does not compute. And I think my one thing is, why are they there? Why can't they just, because they obviously have magical abilities, why can't they just be dimension hoppers or something of that sense? Because Equestria girls.
I mean, like, what if they somehow knew and had access to the portal and could ship people off to Equestria and know about Celestia and Luna and keep contact with them?
Yeah, it's just, I haven't read very many fan fictions that are humans in Equestria that I personally find good. I think I've only read one, and I didn't know it was a human until like chapter 4 of the 5-chapter story.
I mean, because one thing that's kind of conflicting is in the show and comics and the movies, whatnot, the ponies are the quote-unquote humans of the show. They're the top intelligent species of the show. And so having something that's kind of competing is a little off-putting, I guess, a little contradictory. And so,
yeah, I'm trying to think, like, with things that are both sentient, I guess adding humans is just strange. Now, when it comes to the actual wording used in the fanfic, wow. Describing, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be very gracious and provide good visuals for us, there's no reason to describe the characters, because we can see stuff clearly. You don't have to describe the clothes they're wearing, where they're coming from, and you have described their clothes down to the shoes they wear. And if we have a perfectly wonderfully good visual, there's no reason for that. So that could also help lower time of the video and might possibly help hold our intentions longer and might help us to invest more so into the story that you have worked so hard on.
Yes. because I think roughly about maybe 1/3 of the runtime is just describing where we are and who we're talking to, when we could be spending that time learning more about the character, like the girl Leon, I believe is her name. Yeah, Leon. All we know is she's strong and her dad wants to marry her off. I don't know anything else about this character except that. She's strong and her dad's kind of set in old ways. But word choice is very important, and using the time you have, see, in fact, you have this set up episodically like a actual show, therefore you are in a kind of constrained time frame if you want to keep it showish. So there's that. And then while we're on the subject of Leon, she is based off of Asian descent, but again, going back to the fact that we are in Equestria, and we do not currently have within show canon or any other canon that I'm aware of, we have a Asian version. So using words of like Asian and Oriental descent to use to describe her kind of takes you out of the experience of I'm in Equestria with these humans who happen to live within the society of ponies.
If it doesn't live in the actual world, you can't really use it for description purposes. It's kind of eliminated. Now, if going back to humans that are able to hop dimensions, then you could use it because the humans are from an Earth-like place, and there is a China, and so that could help fix that problem. But if you want to keep the humans in Equestria, I advise you try and find different ways to describe. If you want to keep the description of the buildings and the person herself, I would advise you find a different way to describe her than just backfalling onto Chinese culture, because it doesn't exist right now
within this canon you're trying to create it within. Okay, so any other thoughts on the story besides very descriptive and could use some work on wording?
That's about it, I think.
Yeah, so decent setup. We understand the problem. He has trouble using his magic. He needs help, so they go to the top magic user, which within the story is Unicorn Twilight. So I think that's a good setup, but again, a lot of runtime was used describing, and we could have gotten more character development if we weren't spending so much time describing stuff. So, on the subject of characters, let's move on to our characters, shall we? Let's start with Mezzo, the very young wizard. His design is simple. I enjoy his small little cloak and such. The cat is there, so he's a cat.
I mean, having a familiar is nice.
Yes, having a familiar is very nice. And, of course, the cliche black cat is
okay.
Familiar.
Yeah.
It's familiar.
It's comforting. It's comfortable.
I've noticed with a lot of the human characters, you seem to lean toward brown hair and green eyes. Those seem to be very common traits within the society, so I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah, it kind of keeps them consistent in a way.
Yeah, so kind of, yeah.
And then we have
Nicola.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love his name. It kind of reminds me of Tesla. And seeing that he is an inventor character, it fits. I really enjoy his hairstyle.
I enjoy his costume design. It kind of fits. Kind of reminds me slightly Doctor Who-ish.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, which number is that? 10th Doctor without the trench coat?
Maybe, I think so.
Yes, David Tennant without the trench coat. I love it. But, again...
And I like his sense of humor within the episode. I thought he was actually, of all the characters, he was quite funny, and I enjoyed his humor.
Yes, humor, I think, was actually... Some of the written jokes actually worked pretty well, but a few of them... We will discuss this when we get into the video setup and the art of the show. We'll discuss that later. So, now to our third main character, the young lady, Leon. Very classic Oriental design, as we have stated. She reminds me of, oh my gosh, Kimiko from Shaolin Showdown.
That's, yeah.
Just like more proportional head to body, Kimiko. So I enjoy her.
I like how her costume designing is more warm than compared to the two other characters.
Yes.
So it in a way it kind of fits her strong personality, because strong can also mean wanting to stand out and not blend in. And so the fact that she has more golds and reds and warm colors makes her stand out against her other two counterparts.
Yeah, she's a nice contrast to the boys.
So good job there. And she fits. She fits in the household that she stays in.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think works really well.
As for her personality, besides the fact, again, personality of these characters, we didn't really see much of that other than token traits, I guess is the right wording we need. I think lastly we have the royal members. Oh wait, backtracking. With the story setup, there's a couple things with how the characters themselves reacted to certain situations.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. When Mezzo, I don't think I'm saying his name right.
We apologize for messing up your characters' names.
I stutter.
They are kind of unique names, so which is good because it makes them more memorable. But please forgive us if we do butcher them accident. It's purely accidental.
Yes. Mesmo. Okay, Mesmo. When Mesmo and Nicola are heading toward the castle, Mesmo states that he has to go and do his duties at the castle. So I'm assuming that sometimes he does drag his friends along, especially seeing fact when they talk to the royal guards, Nicola states, "Will behave this time," stating that they've been there before. Now my one problem is they're in awe of the palace. Now I'm sure the palace is grand and large and awe-inspiring.
And beautiful.
Yes. But if you go there every day, you don't react to it the same way.
I mean, if something could be beautiful like the Sistine Chapel in Italy, yeah, you're going to be awe-inspired every time you see it, but after a while, you do kind of eventually get used to it, per se.
Yeah, if you have to, say, if you're in charge of taking tickets for that, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm at the Sistine Chapel, when you've done that for 16 years.
Yeah, after a while, it becomes every day.
Yes. Grand things become every day when you're exposed to it long times, which within the story, I got the feeling that they have been, therefore their reactions did not make sense. Back to what we was talking about. Tangent over. Okay.
Characters.
Back to the Royal Guard's design. Again, do not have to describe them in such detail. Lovely design, though.
Yeah, very nice. They're guards.
Guards.
I get it.
They fit with the royalty's color scheme, which is very clean, an emerald green and a white, although I personally think that the emerald color is a twitch saturated in some aspects of the guard's design. Yes, just a twinge. And also, it's not so bad with the white background, but again.
I do like how you took the time to add little tiny embellishments to the guards. It gives it sort of grounding personality in a way.
Yes. Now, as for the king and queen who actually showed up in the episode, again, very basic, very safe designs. They are a king and a queen. I enjoy that you actually you gave the king gold and the queen silver. I thought that was a very nice touch.
Oh yeah, that's really nice.
So yes, I think that's a very nice touch just to distinguish them a little bit more. Again, we have the brown hair and green eyes aspect, which I'm starting to think is just common within the society.
That's not a bad thing at all.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just a very consistent thing that I thought was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the gold accents are nice, but I think seeing that you gave the queen silver in her jewelry, the golden sash, and as well as the gold belt she has.
Kind of conflict.
Yes, conflict, because I don't know if it's just personally me, but I usually, if I'm wearing jewelry or accessories, I usually stick to one metallic.
Yeah, she's probably thinking to herself, oh my gosh, the clashing. The clashing. But also, when I think of a queen, and I'm guessing these designs are based kind of off like England, I usually never really ever really seen a queen wear a sash. Not to my knowledge.
I think the only time I've seen that was in Anastasia when she's in her big ball gown. She actually has a blue sash over her, but that's in Russia.
That's Russia.
Yeah.
So if you think, well, maybe I should just get rid of the gold sash, that's fine.
At least on the queen. I think it looks fine on the king.
Yeah, the king looks perfectly fine. He looks noble and great. The queen you could probably turn her belt into silver, and you can probably either change the color of the belt or just lose it altogether.
Yes. Again, very safe, solid designs and works within the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chancellor. All I can say is he screams evil. Characterization, design. I love his expression. He's like, I'm not dealing with this shit.
I don't trust him. Something is off about him.
Yes, we gotta go with the powdered wig for the evil dude. And the goatee.
That's because he's still bald from having his hair mowed off. You almost made me spit my water.
I'm sorry, Fire Skills. Okay.
So that's really all the characters we have.
At least in episode 1, because we don't get to ponies.
Yeah. But yeah, real quick, Salem's really cute.
Yes, he is adorable.
Salem is very cute. Cute, stereotypical black cat. I like it.
Yes, I like how he has red eye. He kind of has like Discord's eyes, doesn't he? Like the red and the...
It's Discord! We know where you've really been.
Okay.
Maybe Discord is keeping him from not using his magic. We know his plans now.
Fire Skills, we're entering headcanon territory. Be cautious.
But the spirit of Discord left the statue and went into a kitty. It all makes sense. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, video setup. The artist that you got for the video, I have a few critiques on the style. For the first opening shot, I'm sorry, this bugged me. The first opening shot with the castle. Dragon Ball Z background.
We have a fan here.
Oh my gosh, Dragon Ball Z background. Okay. Dragon Ball Z background that was colored over, and all I can say is, to the person who did this shot, as well as I think you did the same shot, you also did the shots for the 3 houses of the main characters and the interior shot where Mesmo is practicing his magic. Perspective, darling. It is your friend.
It takes practice, so don't feel too bad.
Yeah, it takes practice. Just
research it.
Research it. Vanishing points, perspective lines, a ruler.
Yes, it is your best friend. The flag, I think, is very nice. Again, you don't need to really describe it to us. It's shown in all of its glory in front of us on screen, so there's no need. So yeah, I think it looks fine. I like the colors. It matches with the king and queen really well, so I think it fits perfectly fine.
The country's colors.
Yes. And then the tree.
The tree. It's a tree.
Yeah. The leaves, the blur, the cloud of leaves is a little inconsistent.
Yes. Defining some of the leaves in it would be much helpful because it kind of looks like smoke, kind of. Kind of makes me think of Fern Gully.
It does. It's been forever since I've seen that movie.
Oh, good grief. As for Nicola's house, it looks, again, even though it was said it looks like a factory, although I must ask, why did we have to see his house when we never actually went to it? Because we started out the tree, we did eventually go to Leon and the palaces locations. We never go to his house. So why we had to see it, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we come back to this place later on in this series, but yeah. Leon's house, I think, is again a nice design, bold choice of colors. We can clearly see your artistic influence.
I mean, like, to describe the statue, you could just say 2 snarling beasts guard the entrance.
Yes, I think the best thing I can think of is delve into subtlety. We do not have to have everything handed to us and told to us point blank. Describing things vaguely can lead to a much more, what's the word I'm looking for?
A sense of mystery.
A sense of mystery and also suspension of disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not giving everything, you can think more about it. You can be more absorbed in the story. It's like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And all that. Then we move on to Mesmo and his house.
His library.
It looks like a recolored Twilight Sparkles library.
It does.
Again, perspective for the cat on the chair.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that kind of bugged me is that it said the book was on a desk. That's a podium. Just little details. It doesn't really, it doesn't really make that much difference.
Details and consistency.
Viewers appreciate the small details that you keep in mind.
Yeah, especially when you're adding in references. And I just noticed this. For aspiring artists who are doing things for visual mediums that are going to be in video format, 16:9 aspect ratio. Because I can see the corners of the screen.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to be doing drawings for videos, I strongly advise so that your images aren't cropped if the person who's editing it is working in a high definition video. that your image is not cropped, or we don't get the black lines on either side. That is just an editing thing I have noticed, and it slightly bugs me.
I mean, it's a simple thing to do. Just open up whatever program you use, make sure your canvas is 16 by 9, and then you can take that, you can paint on that and then shrink it down.
Yes, I personally, all my images are 16 by 9 inch and are 300 ppi.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, ppi means pixels per square inch, basically.
Which comes in handy knowing when you are doing printing.
Yes.
But if you're doing digital, it just makes it so you have more pixels per little inch, and it makes it
Makes it look crisp.
Crisp and very visual pleasing. The artist who did the panels of Miko and Nicola, very nice, although they do look flat. There's no light or shadow.
Yeah, it gets the point across.
It gets the point across. It's very nice, and I love your expressions. I like how he draws Nicola.
Yeah.
And then we get to I'm going to assume this is another artist because their use of shading is different when we are introduced to Leon. One thing I've noticed is the images that are being, I guess, commissioned or used only have standing characters. We don't really have action poses or character interactions or visual gags. Like, there's this one part where Leon apparently throws a statue over the wall and lands right behind the two boys. An image of that would have been nice, and also it made me laugh.
We want to see that.
That visual gags that you write in,
they don't make sense unless there's a visual. And if you were wanting that to be funny, we do need a visual to laugh at that.
Yes. So yes.
It is a little bit more dramatic with the slight shadows.
Yes, but it is shading, not light and shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yes, but very nice. Proportions seem to be pretty well handled. We feel that the statues in front of her house are huge in comparison to the people. We must not have had an art piece here when they actually were going up toward the castle, because we just have the two guard pictures from the art folder. So, the throne room for the video.
Pretty barren.
Yeah, it's pretty barren and, again, perspective.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just, for the artist, research what a throne room looks like. It's a lot more elaborate than you think it is.
Yes, and also I think you attempted to put the two rulers on a platform, but it does not read like that. It reads like they have a piece of wood in front of them.
Like a footstool.
Yes! Making them more grand, bring them up higher, make the main characters feel small in comparison to their mighty rulers.
Make it dramatic.
Yes. Dramatize! This is an audio drama!
We want to see it.
Yes.
And then we have our lovely villain in the making.
Yes, the Chancellor. I think that's mostly the art for that. The art, we don't really get expressions. We mainly just see the back of their heads. And again, this would require more art pieces, but it would push it.
Oh yeah, it would push it over the top. It would work a lot better.
It would make the visual aspect of the video a lot more stronger, and it would tie the visuals and the audio together better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have our last artist. The artist who did all the colors in black and white. I love your style. It's so cute. And you get your expressions. I feel like they're like, hey, we could go with you. Yay! And it's just adorable. I think you only did 2, but like the second one you did with Mesmo in the background as well as his friends loading up the cart, I'm just like, we have action. This is them trying to do something. We have a dynamic setup.
I got very happy and pleasant when I saw these 2 drawings, because I got invested in the story when I saw them. So
yes, the visuals are. The last 2 are, no offense to the other artists, much stronger and tie better with the story.
Just find a good colorist.
Yes. I would love to see this colored, even cell shaded. This would look wonderful.
Oh yeah, it looked great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so last but not least, the sound, which in an audio drama is the most important part. Huey, no offense to you, and when I was first listening to this, or the narrator, when I first was listening to this, I did not realize that the narrator and Huey, who is voicing the main character, Mesmo, were two separate people. It might be because I am slightly tone deaf, but did you get that when you were first listening to it?
I didn't know there were two different people at all.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know besides recasting, but to the narrator, you did a wonderful job. You did well with the script you were given.
Yeah.
You had that narrating voice that was calming and set the scene up well. Again, word choice is a big factor that can make that leaps and bounds better.
Another thing you could do, because you everything was kind of slightly monotone, except for when obviously when somebody was upset and whatnot, But like especially for the narrator, it was all very flat. When there's a sad moment, go low, but when there's a happy moment, go high. Push yourself. Because an entire episode of just a monotone person talking is not very interesting to listen to.
Well, one monotone person can be interesting when she's surrounded by other people, i.e., Mod Pie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but when everyone seems to be monotone and not putting emphasis or emoting through their voice to it's like it wasn't pushed hard enough. Emote and practice.
Yeah, it takes practice.
Yeah. The background music.
It was good. It didn't distract from the story at all.
It didn't distract, but if I'm remembering correctly, I believe the background music throughout the entire video was the same. It is different songs, but it doesn't really change with the emotion of what's going on in the story.
Look at movies, like when there's a villain or potential villain around, the music gets maybe slightly sinister, or when it's a happy moment, there's, it's a lot more chipper and whatnot. Listen to soundtracks.
Or even characters have themes, like when the villain enters, a certain song plays. Or the sound balance wasn't too grating, except for that one part where it was supposed to be the sour note in the music spell at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that the sound balance was very well, except a couple times I think I heard a couple mics pop.
Yeah.
Which could easily be edited out in future things. Sound effects.
Decent.
There.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Although, again, one thing that's sticking out in my mind is the one time when the statue was tossed over the thing, the narrator does not have to say the sound effect when the sound effect is there. It just overlaps and is jarring.
Mm-hmm. It's distracting.
In not a good way.
Yeah, it's distracting.
Okay, so I think that covers about everything. Any final thoughts, Fire Scales?
Not too bad. Pretty decent. Could definitely be pushed a little bit more.
Pushing the art that is used, the sound design could use some tweaking. Voice acting, again, push your voice. Do, emote. Be that character. You have to understand what this character wants. Character design. Know this character. I strongly suggest character Bibles. They are very helpful in knowing a character, as well as knowing where this character came from. I know I've been picking on her, Leon, but I am really interested in this character, and
we know nothing about her.
We know nothing about her except for a few things, and her reactions to things
is monotone.
It's monotone, and it doesn't feel real. And I want her to feel real. She seems very interesting, and I want to know more about her. And I want more. I would be interested to see another episode of this with these critiques put to use. So that is our review of Adventures in Equestria Episode 1.
We do look forward to seeing others. Please make the other ones.
Make the other 70 other scripts you have written. I attempted to read Episode 2.
It's better in video form.
I think it would be much better in video form. and more, again, reading a script and trying to visualize something. Again, I would revisit a good chunk of wording and describing.
Yeah. Remember what your medium is. If it's an actual book, it could make sense, but since you plan on having visuals along with it, the description's not quite as necessary.
Yes. Know your medium, know your audience, know what you want this to be. And again, subtlety can be a powerful tool. So, I think that will be all for us today. If you would like us to review a character you've designed, a story you've written, or just have something you want us to look at and possibly critique in a future video, please leave a link to it down in the comments below. Until next time, guys, I'm Countess Rose.
And I'm Fire Scales.
Have a good day.